Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. Today being Tuesday, the 20th July or the 11th of June in the 9th year of Chongyil Guk. And let's begin, as always, with a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents Chariot. Kyombe. Aro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가존맨세 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심존 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 7. Our family, the owner of Chongyilguk, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. I'd like to ask Jacinta Derbyshire if she could offer the opening prayer, please.
Good morning, Heavenly Father. Thank you that we can all get together and do these Hunduk mornings. I pray that every day we can be grateful that we've got our lives and we're born at this time, and that we can share this precious message, Heavenly Father. So I pray that you please give strength and power to all the leaders and all of the members, Father, throughout the whole world. And I pray especially, Father, our Australian Pacific region. I pray this in the name of the Inner Jacinta Derbyshire Central Blessed Family. Adieu.
Adieu. Thank you. And let's offer, as always, a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka as he shares with us. Thank you.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining today's morning Fundoke. Today also the beginning of the new day and new moment. Let's put our heart and offer our chanson and prayer to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Today also our Heavenly Parents is preparing many kind of things through our life. Good things, maybe challenging things, struggling things, or happy things. But behind of all things, what is our Heavenly Parents' heart and message? And there we pray together sincerely to receive your message and your inspiration through our life. So now we will start. Okay. So until yesterday, we are sharing about the True Father's word, the Champumogyon, True Father's message about Chonsong and fishing, and also the solving the world problem, hunger or starvation problem, and also another things. And from today, we will go back to the mother's autobiography. When we see our true parents' life and providence, and also the activity, those activity of providence is not only just external activity or making foundation. Really, our true parents all thought education and providence itself is really giving the influence and really solve each person's personal life and actual life practically. If they don't have a food, how really we can provide the food? If their living life is difficult, how really support and help their life? And relationship matter, society matter, family matter, really, when we see our true parents' guidance and providence itself, not only talking about thought, not only talking about the philosophy, they are teaching and they are showing exactly and doing the practically those project itself. That's why yesterday we share about how to solve the 20 million people's starvation problem in the world, how to prepare the fish farm, teach the how to fish the fish, hunting and developing and food product, and even sending the directly missionary, because those difficult nations problem, it's actually not because of environment, because of the people's problem, or even leaders problem, or even their educational part. So father, mother also send many missionary directly to 100, how many nation more all over the world, 194 nation, and ask them, please guide them, teach them how to fish the fish, how to farm the field, and how to love each other, those things. So our all precious missionary, your investment and your visitation or living there, this is really a precious or gratefulness behalf of true parents, because someone if doesn't do this role, who can deliver the message and who can really share our true parents love and heavenly parents love. So many elders, you are also went there as the missionary even in the Oceania nation. So those moment, of course the result usually changing the people or changing the nation, those results doesn't appear immediately, but you are loving and investing and really embracing one by one those love, those heart, surely giving and changing those nations' history and those people's life. So really appreciate our all leaders, your investment, and all our blessed families, missionaries, and also our brothers and sisters. So Father was mentioning those investment is not only solving current issue, but also for the future generation after 100 years and after 1,000 years. Our small investment and also our Johnson effort is really for our future world. So now Mother is investing 2027 and organizing many project, World Summit and leaders, international leaders conference beyond the nation and region, and youth program YSP, and true parents, a true family movement, blessing education. So those education itself is to develop their heart and developing their conscience level and to connect our heavenly parents life and also to the parents. So we are creating great things. So we can find a way how we can solve giving the food, not instead of giving the food, we have to teach how to find the food, how to create the food. That's why Father mentioning fishing and hunting. But how about current era? Maybe we can teach about IT skill, right? If they know how to use the computer, even they can earn money one day, 100 US dollar, 200 US dollar, only just sitting in front of computer or using IT or media website. Really era was changed. That's why Father is mentioning to teach fishing and hunting in order to survive instead of giving food. Let them teach, let them understand about method. That's why in current era, we can find, instead of fishing, what kind of things we can give them or teach them additionally in order to live and develop their life for family level or even the national level. So really, we could learn many things from through parents' word. So today, go to the next topic of our true mother's autobiography. love for God, love for people, and love for one's nation. So this is basically more educational part, educational institution Tree Parents is organizing. So let's see our mother's message. Born during the final years of the Japanese occupation of Korea, I grew up in an oppressed environment. After our country gained independence, oppression continued at the hands of the communist regime. And yet my family steadfastly attended God. And at the risk of our lives, we traveled south into South Korea in search of freedom. When the Korean War broke out, I moved as a refugee from school to school, from Seoul to Daegu, Jeju, Chuncheon, and back to Seoul. This imprinted upon me a great appreciation of education. So love for God, love for people, and love for one's nation. This motto is the motto which Tree Parents leading the educational institution. So we could see. So mother is sharing about her childhood memories. We shared a few times about Tree Mother's life from North Korea, Anju, and Pyongyang, and South Korea, and Seoul, or many places. How many times Tree Mother moved in Tree Mother childhood time. And this moving another city or another country is not the peaceful movement, peaceful moving because of war, because of refugee. Really, the mother could not stay that place. That's why kind of that chased out from that city, have to run away from that country, from north and to south, continuously changing the place, changing the house, and even changing the school. So childhood moment, in order for children to grow up and develop their internal character or even the external ability, the school life or environment is how much important. Have to focus one place, have to focus to develop study and also the relationship with friends. Those things is really important in childhood time. But Trimada herself could not learn, could not focus one place, even small time in North Korea to South Korea as a refugee. This experience really not easy things. Stay in Seoul, study 1 or 2 years, and because of war, also have to move out and change the school. That's why mother really emphasize, and also mother could understand the meaning and also appreciation of education. So our brothers and sisters also, you are the educator, the teacher or professor. Maybe you could understand more how much important the teacher's attitude and also educational contents and educational environment for the students' life and the growing period. So really mother and father concern our education for the people. Despite the post-war chaos, I graduated from Sonjong Girls Middle School in Seoul. I cannot forget the school, my alma mater and cradle of my life. The school you attend during your teenage years can be a significant influence on your future. When I visited the school 30 years after graduating, its name had changed to Sonjong, but some of my teachers were still there. They remembered me, and of course, I had not forgotten them. We were overjoyed to see one another and talked for a long time about those difficult days in the past. So mother's school still existing that place. Can you see? Mother school still existing that place, and each school has a history. That's why when mother visited after 30 years, mother also could see the teacher and also same environment. How about your school life? Do you remember your school life? Elementary school, middle school, middle high school, and high school life. Those elementary moment. So when we think about school life, actually the school environment is really a great moment, because who can choose the schoolmate or classmate? That time, even rich person, poor person, even any kind of religious background, even different character or different nature or hobby, or everyone come together as a schoolmate and stay together or study together. After graduating university, when we think our life and when we get the job, already our people who around us is same, right? When we stay in, already you're joining unification movement. When you join this company, when you organize this business, almost our friendship or our colleague, our relationship with people is similar. Or we stay this city or this house, the neighbor, or all character, similar character person become the friend or gather together or work together. Those person is almost same or similar person. But how about the school life? Totally, they are different character or different background. But as a friend, study 1 year, spend time 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, stay together. And when we think about them, after graduation, they are totally went to the different field. Some people became the businessman, some people became the lawyer, some people operating some company by own self, even some people become the church missionary, church minister, or teacher. So really, when we think about the school or that moment, really some precious or special moment. So when you think about your school life, maybe you have a many kind of memory and many kind of also the experience. So how about you, your friend? Sometimes do you meet your friend when you are the childhood moment, high school, middle school, or even university? And have you visited to your school after you graduated? Or have you met your teacher after graduating your school? So those educational moment, the school moment is really precious. The meeting and the relationship with people itself is also precious things. So depends on the nation. The education is that much important, but depends on the nation. The educational system, educational contents is not prepared or mature enough or developed enough. That's why how to prepare or invest those educational institutions or contents is really important things. This school is now affiliated with our Sonhak Educational Foundation, applying our philosophy. It has become an exemplary educational institution. Our foundation includes 3 other specialized schools. Gyeongbok Elementary School, which opened in 1965, has a proud history and tradition. Sonjeon Middle and High School produces competent young people by offering character education based on heart, in addition to excellent academics. So the school where Chilmada studied also under Sonhak Educational Foundation. So I visited that school, Sonhak School, Sonjeon Middle High School, and I visited the school that I saw from the outside. I didn't see the inside, but those educational contents is really centering on the 심정 and also character education. So those principal contents was also included. in the school education. I was studied in Sammun University. So Sammun University is also under three parents guidance and established by three parents. So if go to the room, all room has the three parents photo, and there is also the place where we can learn about love heaven, love people, and love nation. So those words also, this calligraphy is in front of the main school we could see. And some university case, one of the subject there is divine principle. So all people have to study the divine principle. When once they enter this university, they cannot avoid this subject, study divine principle. And there is a time to join the chapel. So they have to join even the service. In some university case, around 25,000 students, and our membership is maybe around 500 or 1,000 people are the second generation or third generation or member. So that meaning is out of 1,000 people is almost really the people from the society. They don't know about three parents so much. But when they join this school, some university, they will learn our principle, character education, and education for the leadership or those things. And some university case have a many kind of program to exchange program with international. So there is some +1 program, 3 years study in some university, and 1 year they can go to another country and study, then they can graduate the university course. So really education is important. So under Songhak institution, there is three parents direct education or guidance is there. What kind of education, centering what kind of thought, school is educating or giving guidance. This is changing the people's life, even changing people's future, even changing the national future. So investment of education is really important things. These schools have international student bodies living and studying together with the aim of becoming global leaders. Another school, Sonjeon International Tourism High School, prepares leaders for the hospitality industry. At that school, every year on National Teachers' Day, we invite teachers who have defected from North Korea to attend our Teachers' Day event in preparation for the day when the two Koreans will be reunited. So Trimada's school, Sonjeon High School, also having the many project, inviting many foreign students and study that school together. So when you visit that school, there is also the dormitory, and international students stay together and study that school. That's why many of our British children also went to Korea and studied there from 12 years old or 13 years old. Our member, our second generation also went there and studied from a childhood time, from 13 years old. So of course, some of them not easy because 13 years old age is really small age. Already left the parents, left the family, and study there. But from 13 years old, they study in the middle high school. That's why they could learn Korean tradition. They could learn to parents' tradition, even Korean language, and to make a friend with Korean friend. And they really had a many kind of experience. And even for Korean students themselves, they could learn have a relationship with international students. So those schools have a program, and those program was prepared the aim of becoming global leaders. And in the same time, MADA is also preparing for after unification of North and South Korea. We are talking about heavily unified Korea and unified between North and South Korea and preparing and investing those unification. But in the same time, we have to think, if once this unification happen, then what is after that? What is after project, and what kind of things we have to organize or prepare? Because surely if unification will be that happened, there are many issues, there are many kind of things will be happening, like Germany. That's why mother also preparing those educational side or school side together. The first school we established independently was the Little Angels Art School in 1974. As I have recounted, my husband and I went through many difficulties to form and finance the Little Angels of Korea in 1962, which we created to present Korean beautiful traditional culture to the world. Their training site in an abandoned warehouse evolved into the Little Angels Art School in 1974 and is now the Songfa Arts Middle and High School. These schools have produced internationally renowned vocalists and ballerinas. When you leave the school through the main gate, you see a sign engraved with the words "Gateway to the World." So Little Angels, this school is located different place with Sonjeon Middle High School. Maybe some of you visited this Little Angels school. Already I share about the story of Little Angels. Now Little Angels is one of the famous school inside of Korea about the art. So many the clever or many high-level person come together, come to school and study well, and even after graduation, they really played an important role, or they became really famous in the each field. Some people became the singer, some people became the artist, even some people became the musician, and also even joining those international artistic groups. So to parents is really even investing those field, and also organized many our internal event in Little Angels Hall. So maybe some of you visited the Little Angels School and the event hall. So this is the photo, realizing a world of culture of heart through sports and also the education. So you could see the school, the first one, this is 통일 신학교 입학식. This photo is about Unification Theology UTS, Korean UTS. So three parents organize a Korean UTS. So this is the first graduation member, and many top leader graduated this UTS in Korea. So our Dr. Yon also, and also the Son Jo-fan, and also in Korea, Yan Chan-sik, President Yan Chan-sik, and also who is the leader of Korea now, the Cheonpyeong, Ki Sung-ri, President Ki Sung-ri. So they are all same schoolmate in 30 or 40 years ago, and learning from Reverend Johan Lee in the UTS in Korea that time. Then now they are doing the important role. And this is Sammun University. This is Little Angels School in Korea. And this is Cheonsim in Cheonpyeong. This is Sonjeong High School. This is Trumada's High School in Seoul. And this one is Bridgeport, right? Or UTS? Maybe UTS. This is Bridgeport. Yeah. And this is Cheonsim in Korea. So those schools. So not only this one, really, Tree Parents is organizing many school education. So we could see this school. If you have time, please visit to each place. You could feel this atmosphere. Really investing so much. So love heaven, love people, and love nation. So to cultivate righteous future leader who love God, love humanity, and love their country. So this is the main thought or main philosophy through all educational contents. So we could see that. Chonsim, wait. Chonsim International Academy overlooking Champion Lake is another international middle and high school. We invested a great deal of time and effort into building this world-class preparatory school for global leaders, starting with its first graduating class in 2009. Graduates have entered leading university, including top-ranking universities in Korea, the Ivy Leagues in the United States, and prestigious universities in Japan. So this is Chonsim International Academy. So this school is one of the special schools inside of Korea. This main target is to educate and guide people to enter the top university in the world, not in Korea. This target is to send people to the world level. That's why inviting the famous professor or teacher from the world. So they are learning, they are study not in Korean, they study in English even inside of Korea. That's why the student can receive the elite educational contents. So those school is not existing in Korea. That's why the many top student is entering this high school. So in order to enroll this school, the student have to learn separately. So they go to the tuition. Do you know how much they pay this tuition in order to enter this high school? One person pay around more than 1,000 US dollar for tuition. That's why really top person, rich families, top person also come here. So I think maybe I had many members could not go. Really almost many outside top people come together. That much really high level. Of course, our member, high level person can come together. But really, this school, even this school is located in Cheongpyeong, but many people come from outside and really study. And after graduating this school, they became the top leader. So they went to the Ivy League in United States and also prestigious university in Japan or world level. So in the study side, not only teaching our contents, of course, our contents itself is important, but in the same time, in the society level, really showing the high level standard of education. These things is also the significant activity of the educational side. So we could see our Tree Parents investment. So that's why today we are sharing about Tree Mother's autobiography, especially the educational side. So how much education, how much the moment of the childhood time is important. That's why through investment and through education, we could see the importance of the future children, investment of the future nation and the world. So when we remind our school time, our how much education are important, and when Tree Mother remember the school time, really Tree Mother also could more realize how much environment, school education and contents is precious and giving the influence to our child. So when we see our Tree Mother's autobiography, we could see those history or this investment. That's why when we see also ourselves, we could learn, and also the educational part, we can consume more. So inside of Oceania, some nations have our school in the Solomon Island. Now just open the Solomon Island new school. This through parents' birthday time, Solomon nation offer as the gift of the true parents' birthday. So we are easy to remember the foundation day of this Solomon school. True parents' birthday is the foundation day of Solomon Island School. So those school, the investment is really our concern. And in the same time, we have to provide many educational material to each place. So today we are sharing so we can connect our educational contents, our school life, and also we can remember our true parents behind thought and also meaning. So thank you for joining today's Fundoke. Today is also the new start and new day. And through those true parents' heart, let's create our new day. Thank you very much for joining. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka, as always, really enlightening so much about our true mother's life and, the time, when she was young and going to school. And I was quite moved and surprised that when she returned home to her school, that her teachers were still there after so many years. And I mean, that's something that doesn't happen in Australia. I mean, living here at the Peace Embassy, I'm literally like a 3 or 4 minute walk away from the school I used to go to, Cleveland Street Boys High School. And I went there looking at the school, and I took a photo of the founding stone, and it says on the stone that this foundation stone of this public school was laid by the governor of the colony, the Right Honourable Sir John Young, on the 14th of November in 1867. So the school is 154 years old, and it has on the stone, the Council of Education, Honourable Henry Parkes, Honourable George Allen, Honourable W.M. Arnold, Honourable James Martin, and Professor Smith, MD. And a number of these people are actually the founding people of Australia and education in Australia. So I was quite taken by, it's a very old historic building, and they've put some major, it's been one of the oldest schools in Sydney, possibly one of the oldest schools in Australia. It's had a lot of name changes. It was called Cleveland Street Boys High School when I was there. But now it's a really huge school. They just finished building a 6 or 7 story massive building. They increased the capacity by 4.5, 5 times. And it was just interesting to see the mix of really, really modern building that makes me think, it looks more like a university campus than it does a high school. And this really old heritage buildings. And I was just remembering walking around and seeing, but everything's changed. There's no teachers or people. I went to go inside to talk, and it was just very interesting to see. But so I was quite surprised to hear that when Mother went back, there's still the same teachers, and they remembered each other. That's quite amazing. So yeah, that's education is very passionate to me. I came into education. One of the motivations to be an educator, I had revelations when I was before joining the church. I was 19. I realized that I need to teach people, and I had a couple of sad experiences. I used to play tennis a lot, and one of my tennis buddies, you could say, committed suicide. And a couple of people, I remember reading a newspaper article about how this young girl went to her teacher struggling with suicidal thoughts. and then it ends with both of them committing suicide. And then also at a similar time, my sister went to another old school called Fort Street School, and they witnessed a person commit suicide. A whole class watched the person jump off the building and died. And those things all happened within a 1 year period. And I had this overwhelming sensation that they need good people the purpose of the school is to raise up their character, not just to be smart. And so I had this overwhelming feeling that I need to become a teacher to help people, students, to really find themselves and to find their character. So to me, education is very precious, and it's really a cornerstone of our commitment to others, because we really have to educate God's heart and help them overcome their problems. And it starts from school. And you need teachers. You've got to be a true parent. You've got to also be a true teacher. And Father's talked about that a lot. And so that's our responsibility, to be that type of a true teacher. So this topic about schools always tugs at my heartstring. So thank you for that, and thank you, Reverend Yutaka. I see Jacinta with her hand up. Jacinta Moreau, go ahead.
Morning. Actually, I thought Reverend Stone's hand up was before mine.
You're right, actually. Is yellow on yellow, so it's hard to see. But anyway, you started. Greg can go next. Sorry.
Yeah. I have experience of teaching for 8 years in Korea at an international school. So I think to appreciate the value of the Chongqing Academy, basically it's not possible for normal Korean students to go to such a school and get training to go overseas. To go to an international school, you had to be a student who was born overseas. So you've got a citizenship of another country, or you have to be like a descendant of a parent who's got an international passport. So the school that I did teach at for 8 years, it also does send students overseas. I had one student who ended up going to Harvard for her biology studies at graduate level. So, this is possible in Korea, but as I said, not for students who are both, parents are Korean and they were born in Korea. So that's really opened up, educational opportunities for Koreans. Actually, Korean parents are so desperate for their students to be able to get overseas international education. I can remember when I was there that there were some parents who were actually having their children adopted. I don't think it was so officially, by some of the American families who were living on the base in Seoul, so that they could go to the Seoul, like American primary school, middle school, high school, and get international education there. And that was actually found out at one point, and they put a stop to that. But the other thing that I want to mention is that I think, of course, it's good for us to develop our own schools, but we actually have to transform the ones that are already existing. But Korean education as it is, I think it has a lot of lessons that it can give to the world. I just want to show this in front of the camera. Can you read that?
Yeah, or Sarang Life.
Yeah, so this is elementary upper grades called Hyo Sarang Life, Filial Piety and Love. This is taught routinely in the Korean public schools. And somehow I can't even remember how I got this English copy, right? But they're obviously already realizing that, they have, value added education that they can spread throughout the world through producing such books like this. So I think not only do we have to think about, Korean students getting opportunities to go overseas, but actually international students coming to Korea and learning this type of special, artistic education. Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah, good morning, everyone. When John first became national leader, he took me to that Cleveland Street School, and we had a look at that. But I'm very interested that one of the names on the plaque was Sir Henry Parkes. He's the father of Federation, and his son was the architect who designed our peace embassy. Oh, he's really historical. Those guys. Anyway, no, I just wanted to just mention briefly. I went to Sun Moon University as well. At the time, a true father wanted to have the national leaders come to Korea and learn Korean and go back and teach everybody back in their countries. So Mr. Kabuki came, and the national leader of the US and several of the European nations all came. Henri Blanchard was one of them. He was a French leader at the time. So we all went there, and the 12 of us studied at the Cheonan campus, and we tried to learn Korean. We were all pretty old at that time even, and so it was not easy for us to get the language later in life. But when our father was so intense in his kind of love for the Sun Moon University, it only had that campus on Cheonan. Later it was Asan. They built it on Asan, and it had just turned into from a theological seminary into a university. But every time he would come to Korea from overseas, he would pretty well go straight to Sun Moon University. And on the top of the main building, there was a place where he would always gather us, and he'd gather Korean leaders, and he'd always gather the 12 representatives of the 12 nations. And one time he was twiddling around with forming the we call it the logo of the school, Sun Moon University. Can I just share the screen for a sec?
Oh,
Yeah, so Father was just drawing that while we were there in the upper room to be the logo of the school. So that's now the logo. As it says, I love God, love humankind, love your country. So we actually saw Father actually personally drawing that. And later that actually became the logo of the school, of the university. Also, to follow up from what Jacinta was saying, the dedication of Korean parents, when there was exams, for entrance into the Sun Moon University, we would, at night time, the parents would be just walking around like ghosts, walking around, praying for their students that they could get into the university from the high school. So incredibly dedicated, the parents, over there. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Sharing.
yeah. Thank you, Greg. Actually, I have another story that I would like to share. I mean, I had an opportunity to teach during just before the global financial crisis. There's this man who made his money in Korea. I've forgotten all the names, and by selling pasteurized milk. It was very unique, and he decided to help education. So Jacinta inspired me about how they already have this Hyo John Hart, and how there's so many people in Korea really concerned about education. Well, he built a free school for the top 1% of all of the Koreans. So if you were in the top 1%, so the smartest of the smart, and they went to this prep school. So they had finished high school, and they were preparing to go to the Ivy League schools or to Korea, the best schools, or to Japan. And I went there. I was in Australia at the time. I found out there was some already blessed couples who were working in that school, and I found out about it. And then I applied because to have a job there, because I thought I'll live in Korea, take the whole family. I had 3 little kids at the time, 3 or 4, and I went there for 8 days, and they paid for my trip from Australia to go there. And I had to teach, and I was going to teach science and technology and maths, and I had to do lessons. And so there was this school, and I had to wear traditional Korean clothes because it was going to be a completely traditional school, but it was totally taught in English. I'd have my own room, and I'll teach maths and science and technology, and I had to prepare these lessons. And I had 3 lessons I had to prepare: one in technology, one in science, one in and one in maths. And I had to, and I was there, and I had to learn how to pull a bow and arrow. I had to, wore the clothes every day, and the lesson started at 6 and finished. They got up at 6. Lessons started at 7 a.m. and they finished at 7 p.m. So it was a 12-hour day, and every day they would study, and I'd have a dormitory where I'd look after these teenagers, and everyone was speaking English. And I went there, and I was global financial crisis happened because they had to choose. The students had to choose, and the staff had to choose if I was going to be employed. But then the global financial crisis happened. He lost his money. He had to actually shed staff, and so I never got hired. And so that whole possibility of being in Korea for a long time was missed. But anyway, I stayed in Australia. So it's just interesting experience to be in that school, to follow that tradition and see the heart. So totally free school for the best students in Korea. It was quite an amazing experience. So yeah, thank you. Daniela, you've got your hand up. Go ahead. I think you'll be the last person.
Yeah, just a point regarding also the challenges that the youth, North Korean and South Korean youth, especially South Korean youth, are facing. We have one of Lucas's friends. He's Korean and he's studying here in Australia, and it's quite profound. He came here for Lucas's birthday, and the love they had for the parents, and especially I experience, especially towards me, like I'm Lucas's mom. So he comes here for Lucas's birthday. We had some of Lucas's friends here, and he's from South Korea, and he came, and the deep respect, like he came, and he obviously always comes and greets me with such a, like you can feel, oh, there's such a deep respect and love, and he gives me the present, he gives me both this big box of tea, like the tea is a huge, all wrapped up beautifully, and like, wow, it's so really so profound, the love. And even all the children, Lucas's friend brought some food, so he brings this food, and he's saying, so they were sitting outside, eating outside, and he's saying, oh, so he's actually telling Lucas that first they need to give food to me, because I'm here still preparing some food in the kitchen. So he says, so he comes and gives me the food, and it makes me feel I was so moved, and so like I felt such a profound love. And so this is the beginning of the year, and we had dinner recently, and we were talking about some of his friends study in China, and they have a chance to meet up with also North Koreans. They study with North Korean students as well. And so obviously he hears from their friends, like they find it very difficult to become friends with the North Korean students. And he was saying, like they very, like, of course they standoffish, but they very aggressive towards them. And then the other fact he was saying, like they watch Korean drama, but they are not really supposed to do that. So they never kind of openly say, even though the other students know that they're watching Korean drama, but So we talked about that, and he was saying, so we asking him, what is your feeling about, the reunification of North and South Korea? And he was saying, yeah, a lot of young people, they don't really want that. They don't feel like, obviously, they feel there's such a big difference between North and South. So while we were talking, of course, we tried to explain to him, like the deeper meaning of that reunification from the spiritual point of view. And he was interesting. He was quite, you could feel he was taking that in, and he was quite surprised by that. And I think that's something that I heard also, like the preparation they're doing also in America with the youth Christian leadership as well. Like Joshua Holmes is one of the leaders there. And Bishop Nolo Jones was saying to them in one of those Zoom meetings, like as they prepare for even to go to Korea to work for the reunification North to South, he was saying to them, so this is Bishop Noel Jones, which is this Christian, very prominent Christian minister that invited Trumada in 2019 at his mega church. He was working with the young Christian leaders there and with our unificationist leaders as well. He was saying, this is one of the main points for them. They need to understand that it's going to be very difficult for young people to really feel that and to, be prepared for that. So obviously, it's, something that is quite the spiritual, connection. If they have the understanding of that, they can, really like go past the external differences, economical, but even character, and even this is like not a character, it's the spiritual dynamic that's happening between those two countries as well. So yeah, just some feeling
Yeah, thank you, Daniela. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. It's time now to offer our unison prayers. I'll just share the screen. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
Have a time.
Yeah.
You local way.
Yeah.
Everyone looks good. See you later.
You.
Bye.